It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
I just want you all to know I came back for Italy for this show. That's how committed I am to being on the radio with you Sunday morning. It's this next 60 minutes about talking cars, trucks, SUVs, in fact, anything with a throttle. It's the weekly automotive experience. I'm Nick Miles, and you're listening to America's Automotive Radio Show, keeping you connected to the automotive world, locally created and nationally celebrated. On this week's show, what have we been parked and driving out of the Test Miles garage? Like the smell of rubber on a short track, well, Sparky will be here to explain what happens next weekend with some drifting. If you've misplaced your keys, you may want to find them. We have a little device that has been invented to help you find your keys. I'll tell you all about my trip to Italy to drive the new Aston Martin DB11, and we'll find out what Ryan has been testing. So first of all, Brad, what have you been driving this week?
I had an interesting week this week. I'm working as transportation supervisor on a film, and we needed to find a really cool, sexy car for the hero who turned out to be Bruce Dern. This movie's called V4, stars Billy Zane and Keith David. So we sourced out the Range Rover Evoque because it looked great, had a cool image, and was perfect for this. However, one of the features of this car, while the sloping back in and makes it look all great, it's tiny inside because it is a compact SUV.
Two-door or four-door?
This is the four-door. Well, five-door technically, but
Five-door. Yeah, I see the two-door really is tiny inside.
And so fortunately, we had three tiny little actresses who had to hop in the back seat in one seat. So, but it's small inside. So everything that makes it cool looking also contributed to making it a little small inside with the sloping back end. But I got to drive as a second unit driver last night in the middle of the night as they filmed all throughout town. So we didn't want Bruce driving 100 miles an hour and doing all that. So it really is a fun car to drive. One thing I noticed is the 0 to 20 speed or something like that felt like an old Saab Turbo almost at the low end when it stomped on it.
Like a 20s Saab Turbo?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But it was like very little power on the front end on that 0. But once it got up and had some torque, that 9-speed automatic transmission kicked in, and it was fun to thrash around in Portland and sliding turns and all sorts of good stuff. And then I get to ship it back to Range Rover, so that's good.
Now, after you told them you thrashed it.
Yeah, that's okay. This wasn't technically a press car. It was a movie car, so it's okay. I think they're used to it. But the price on this Evoque is $42,000 on the low end, up to about $61,000 for a way over the top. Great one.
I had a lot of people I've recommended that car to. I think it looks great. It was a great idea, but the only downside is the visuals out the back, backing it up.
Really hard to see. I committed completely to the camera.
Right.
You know, the in-camera, but
exactly what it tells you not to do.
Yeah, sorry. So its competitors, I guess this size would be more like the X3, but is the Discovery Sport its own competition?
Yeah. I bet the Discovery Sport is the non-luxury version that you can see out the back of.
So, but I mean, overall, it obviously it has the Range Rover off-road capability and all that stuff, but great, fun to drive, really nice. I mean, if you are just two people, I would think, if you're not having to haul many people around. If you're just two people, I am two people.
You're talking about people with split
being two people myself,
people who could lose a little weight. If you are just two people,
I am two people.
Which one am I talking to right now? Brad 1 or Brad 2?
It was designed for women. The smaller SUV.
I thought Sean liked it. He did say that.
Yeah.
But, I'd give it a solid 8, 7, 8. For what it is.
A solid 7-8.
7 or 8.
That's usually a solid is a 1 number.
Yeah, that's actually point. Yeah, I'll give it a solid 7.5.
All right, there you go. All right, so you'd buy it?
No, I would buy the Discovery. I don't need as much luxury inside, and I'd like to see outside a little bit
features.
Better. Yeah, I don't need to be cute.
I actually might agree with you.
First time for everything. Outstanding.
Yeah, no, I think I might agree with you if I didn't have any friends. But, and I didn't want them to see me in a cool car. But if I want to see my...
But it made a great hero car, so that was nice.
There you go. What color was it, by the way?
Kind of that light green color.
Okay.
And we did some shots in front of the Range Rover dealer, too, so we'll sell them to Range Rover.
My downside to those cars is they always come in fairly muted colors. I like them a little bit more exciting.
This wasn't exciting, but it's going to come out in a convertible. So,
What
or
exciting
is out.
car were you driving this week, Sean?
Not a hero car, but a truck. I had the
A hero truck?
It could be a hero truck.
All right.
It's pretty heroic to me. I had the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, and the TRDs basically get an off-road package, more aggressive look, 18-inch black alloyed wheels, skid pad, and a cool TRD exhaust, which is the best feature of this truck because the exhaust is beefy, and you waste a lot of gas just hearing the truck and the exhaust. I was a big fan of the exhaust.
Here's the whole deal with trucks. America has ruled the world with full-size trucks, half-ton trucks. Ford number 1, Chevy number 2, Ram number 3. It's been like that for years. And now the Japanese are throwing everything they can at that truck market with Nissan and their Titan, with Toyota and their Tundra, with Honda and their Ridgeline. They are throwing everything they can at the truck market.
But one of the cool things when they designed this truck, they actually went to farmers and construction workers and asked them, what do you want in a truck? And a lot of them said, I want to be able to open the truck with gloves on. So they made everything inside bigger door handles, bigger knobs, bigger radio, everything. So you can change and be inside the truck with gloves on.
I hate to dash all your beautiful PR about this, but every single truck manufacturer does the same.
Yeah, but
Toyota tells us this all the time.
I
But the
believe
truth
that they
is-
actually did it.
Yeah,
I mean, they
but the
hit
truth is you do. You go to most trucks and you can operate them with gloves on.
Well,
'Cause they
but I feel like
realize
the
that you have
Toyota is
to.
a little bit easier than some of the other truck manufacturers out there.
But not mittens. You can't operate them with. I've tried.
Well,
Doesn't
that's because
work.
you got little fingers.
But mittens
I
don't have
could-
fingers.
Well,
They're just mittens.
Well, it depends on what kind of mittens they
I know. But
Okay, I'm just trying to derail you.
I know. It has a beefy 5.7 liter V8 engine, 381 horsepower. Its competitors realistically are only the Ford Raptor and the Ram Rebel. I almost screwed up. I know.
Black edition, maybe the black edition Chevy Silverado.
Is that an off-road truck though?
Yeah.
I mean, but Chevy now has everything a black edition.
Right.
But I
Maybe
just don't
that's a
see that
luxury
thing.
truck.
I just don't see it as an off-road.
I think one of the things whether you put additions on trucks is the truth is you can go to the dealer and buy the parts to get it to do what you want it to do.
Well, but I'm talking
For every
factory.
truck.
You can do that to anything. I can go to anywhere and make my truck an off-road. I'm saying stock out of the factory. This is what it's designed.
Peter will tell you from Mobile West that you can pretty much do anything to a truck to make it the way you want it.
Some my favorite features too as well is the easy lift gate, because basically you can open and close this lift gate with one finger. It's super light, hydraulics basically on it to help. They have the kind of a tow rail system in the back where you can change whether your actual your tie downs are.
Tie down rails are, sliding tie downs.
Which helps if you're moving people or a bike, you can actually adjust where the force is and you need to tie stuff down instead of trying to angle everything. Starts at 42,000. You can get them up to 50. Toyota also has 6 different other trucks. If you don't want an off-road, you want more of a luxury truck.
All right. I mean, they are. Once you start to get into these high-end trucks, are expensive. All right, quickly, I'm going to tell you about the car I was driving this week. I actually went to Italy to drive the brand new Aston Martin DB11. This is the DB10 was the James Bond car for the movie. They only made 10 of them. They sold them for over $1 million each. The DB11 is kind of what came next. I can't even start to tell you what an amazing car this is. There's an embargo on the driving impression, so I can't tell you how it drives. What I can tell you is some of the technology on the inside of this car is absolutely unbelievable. First of all, they wanted to have downforce on the back of the car, but they didn't want a fin on the back of the car. They didn't want a spoiler on the back of the car. So what they did is they have at the back windows an aero intake, and the aero intake pushes the air out the back of the trunk, which creates its own downforce. So at the windows, the air is sucked in through the windows, goes through pipes in the car, and comes out the back of the trunk, which pushes the car down onto the back of the road at speed.
this isn't a driving impression, but it still stays quiet?
Yeah, there's no noise. You can't hear anything. It's absolutely unbelievable. I spent a good part of 2 days with some of the top race drivers, some of the top automotive journalists from around the world driving this car, and all of them were very concerned that their viewers and listeners would be thinking they would be paid off to say what they were saying about this car.
Well, you did say before the show started, it's the perfect car.
I mean, yeah, if you have $207,000 plus, it's the perfect car.
That'd be a perfect life, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a perfect life. Hand stitched. They can look on the inside of this car, and the seamstresses, and I can say seamstresses because there's only women that do the stitching on the inside of this car, and they can tell you which woman sewed it just by looking at the stitching.
Their own style.
Each one has their own style. It's hand-picked. 200 hours to make a single car. The engines are all hand-built, and they gave me a little plaque. There's an engine plaque that says this engine was designed by so-and-so, and it's a single engine, single man, just like AMG. The plaque they gave me says this DB11 was test driven by Nick Miles, and that which goes on the inside of the car. I'll tell you more about the trip to Italy when we get into later in the show, but it was unbelievable, absolutely amazing. However, I slept, I think, for 18 hours yesterday because I was so exhausted. Coming up, we're going to talk to Sparky about some drifting that's going to happen in Washington State next week. We'll hear about the trip to Italy and also a way to make sure you never lose your car keys again. That's coming up on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Staying connected with the automotive world, you're listening to Test Miles. I'm your host, Nick Miles. Don't forget to read my articles about cars in the Oregonian. I was going to say something else, but I only write about cars and then just talk about a lot of other stuff. So, Jen, fun fact time. Here you go.
Okay, the first fun fact of the day is Japan was the earliest birthplace of drifting. It started back in the 1960s on windy mountain roads, and it wasn't until the 1970s that the All Japan Touring Car Championship started for competitors.
Now, that brings us to our next subject. Formula Drift Series will be stopping in Evergreen Speedway August 4th, 5th, and 6th, starting at 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. Now, Evergreen Speedway is the oldest track on the circuit and was originally built as a horse racing track located in Monroe, Washington. This event will feature two groups of racer pros and world champions. Sparky is here to talk to us a little bit about it. You're wound up in drifting a lot because of Lauren, your son, who is a drift filmer amongst other things. Built his name on part of his name anyway on filming drifting. But you're going to be up there with the team. So what happens in Everett?
Well, we're back in the Northwest. We just got through with Montreal, which was really interesting. Nice kind of home spun track, a lot of great people, great fans. Lucky me, I get to go out with four of the best shooters in Formula Drift, Lauren being one of them, Andrew, Jesse, our friends out of Florida, Tommy Babyars. These guys are just do amazing photography, and they're all with teams. We, at this point in time, have the Nexon group, which is Tanner Faust, the reigning champion, Frederick Osbo, and then Ken Gucci. All really just incredible drivers. You know, we see Justin Pollock, we see Von Getten Jr., we see Michael Essa, Alex Honendale, all these guys that are just top drawer. And boy, they blew them away in Montreal because they have kind of the pro level stuff. But down here, this is top competitors, and they are absolutely incredible.
So those people that don't understand what Formula Drift is, it's probably one of the biggest growing or fastest growing motorsports that there is. And really, it's not about speed, and it's not about completing the course in time. It's about how long you can keep the car going sideways, right?
To an effect, I kind of explain it as a cross between drag racing and ballet. They have to hit certain marks going at high speeds. They call them clip points. And the judges, it's one of the rare racing things that actually has a judging. So it's style, it's angle, it's smoke, it's the execution of, starting the drift, initiating it, and then hanging on to it. They also run tandems, and we'll see the cars within 36 inches of each other at 90 miles an hour. And, we have our cameras on the sides of the cars, on tops, inside, so we can really gauge just exactly how close they are. So once the lead car goes in, they're throwing so much smoke sometimes. I can't understand how the guys that are following that, and they have to maintain a certain attitude and angle to match what the guy in the lead is doing. So
I've seen Team Orange, the guys from Japan, do that. It was absolutely amazing. It was actually amazing to see cars drift around just inches apart, and they were exactly in tandem together. Can anyone go see this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that's best about this particular track is the grandstands are on in a place that you can see the entire race. There's times when they'll disappear between objects in other tracks, but this one you can see the very start. You can see the first swing when they go into the bank corner. They come down what they call the alley, and then there's a wall tap that's so close that the fans can be literally 10 feet away. And so, again, you get to see the entire race.
Do bad things happen in Formula Drift?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually the master at slow motion crashes. Normally the guys will have me up there to do the long lens slow-mo. We do anywhere from 120 to 900 frames a second. So some of the stuff that I've got can be seen on YouTube via Lauren in HD. And I've been lucky. I've been in a position where some amazing crashes have happened, and it's all in slow-mo, which is unbelievable what happens to cars when they come apart like that. Ironically, we never see anyone get hurt. Their safety equipment is so good. The drivers walk away every time.
Which is nice, because really we only go to see races for the crashes, especially NASCAR. Right? I mean, honestly, a lot of people just show up to see the bad things. It's even better when somebody doesn't get hurt.
I thought we went to NASCAR to watch left-hand turns.
No, you go to see the crashes. That's why you go to NASCAR.
The crowds come.
Now you tell me.
The crowds come undone when stuff like that happens, and sometimes it's on purpose. I have one where JTP center punches Tyler McQuarrie. I mean, literally, he got mad. He bumps him in one corner. The next time they go for a right turn, he basically just parks his fender right in his passenger door and puts him right in the wall.
And to me, it's pretty incredible. I do have some ticket prices here, by the way, if you want to go to Everett. Fridays is $34.50, $10 for parking. Saturdays is around $40, $10 for parking. Kids and 10 and under get in for free. That means I could probably get away with that. 2-day passes are about $45. Again, $10 each day for parking. And for VIP packages, it's $132.50 plus parking. It includes VIP seating, open track during open ceremonies, and autograph sessions as well. So more information, presumably, you can go to the Evergreen track, right?
Yeah, I would hurry on those tickets. This will sell out, and it is a huge and crazy crowd.
We're going to talk more about this when we get back. We're going to have a little interview after the break to talk about how never to lose your car keys again. By the way, if you have Periscope, you can be watching the Nick J. Miles app of Periscope, and you can see the whole show live, us here in the studio. When we come back, those car keys, never lose them. And we're going to talk about that on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at testmiles.com.
It is so awesome to see Brad Boyer, who is near his 80s, just thrashing and headbanging in the studio to that music.
It's a little George. Is this Thorogood?
Is it? Yeah. I don't know.
This
I
is
have
my
no idea.
This is my era.
I was born in 85. I have no idea what you're talking about. Would you like to be part of our show? Then visit our website or Facebook, testmiles.com, and we'd love to hear from you. You can check out all the news of the day. By the way, if you are not on our Facebook friends, do go to Test Miles and become a Facebook friend, because Jen is in charge of our social media, and she posts some amazing daily facts. I never knew about half the stuff. Like I learn more from reading your facts every day than I do.
I thought those were all from you, and that you were that brilliant, knew all that stuff.
Shh, the fourth wall has just collapsed. Yeah. All right, time for Jen's fun fact. Go, Jen.
Thanks, Nick. Did you know that the average person spends 6 minutes every morning trying to find their keys? That's an average of 36.5 hours a year.
Oh.
12 minutes.
You have, for Ryan, I have to tell you how many times I've been sitting on a plane with him, and he's gone, oh God, I haven't got my iPhone. And he'll get off the plane and run, and then he's searched for it, and then he'll come back on and go, I can't find it anywhere. Oh my God, it's gone. Oh, here it is in my bag.
I gotta lean into the pilots and be like, okay, don't leave. I'll be right back.
He's done that more times than you could possibly believe. It's absolutely funny. All right, so have you ever left the house without your keys or your wallet or your lunch? I don't know if I've ever left the house without my lunch. I don't usually pack a lunch, but or have you ever wondered where your dog had wandered off to? Yes, I have 3 beagles, very familiar with that. Tile has the solution to help you find the item, and they've integrated that product into the latest Jaguar Land Rovers. Joining us on the phone is Mayank Kumar. Did I say your name correctly?
Pretty much, Nick. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
No, I'm sure people butcher your name all the time, so I apologize if I butchered it. So tell us a little bit about Tile. You've integrated into Jaguar Land Rover. How does it work?
Well, so the way Tile works is, you stick the tile onto something you don't want to lose, forget, or misplace, and then we've got this app on your phone on iOS or Android, and it keeps track of where you last had your item. You can ring it to find it if you're next to it, or we also have a community that's always anonymously, constantly looking for your items. So you just never lose your stuff.
So I noticed that you could attach it to a bike, which you could attach to a dog. I have 5 dogs. 3 of them are beagles, and so beagles don't like to stay in any one place at one time. They like to dig out of fences and disappear. So if I lost my beagle and he's maybe a mile away, how do I find it? Because obviously my phone isn't going to be able to sense where the tile is like a mile and a half away.
Right. So, that's where the community kicks in. With every new person buying a tile and using it, they actually are helping everyone else in the community as well. So it's kind of like a cycle where the more members we have, the denser the network gets. And anyone that, walks by your tile, without them knowing, they anonymously update the network. You get the latest location of your lost item, and then you can go there and ring it once you're within Bluetooth range.
So is this a sort of an item that can be put into cars and we can locate things like stolen cars?
Yeah, actually, that happens. We've got a fantastic story of a VW bus that was stolen and found, hundreds of miles away from its original owner. We had a guy in San Francisco who had his bike stolen, and the community found his bike. So yeah, and not only is it for stolen, right? If you're putting it in your car, you can use Tile to remember where you parked your car.
That'd be fantastic. I was at the airport the other day and couldn't remember. There all day greeting people.
Yeah.
Came back up to the parking garage and kept hitting my remote trying to find it. And that only goes so far.
You couldn't remember where you parked?
Yeah. It was somewhere on the 4th floor.
I'm going to stay way away from the age dementia jokes right there.
I was not the only one wandering around hitting my remote trying to get the thing to go off. This would have been fantastic.
So tell us a little bit about how much Tile costs, and the software presumably is free, but how much does it cost per Tile unit? Because I've got to buy 5 of these now for my dogs.
Well, so that's awesome. So if you buy one, by the way, you can buy this on the website at thetileapp.com or on Amazon, or you can go to any one of our stores. I think all the retail stores have Tile now, like Best Buy and Target. You buy one for $25, and it keeps getting cheaper the more you buy. So you have your 4-pack where you save about 30%, and then you've got your 8-pack. You can buy eight tiles at a time.
No, I actually got a free tile when I went on the Jaguar Land Rover launch for the F-Pace and for the XE. How does it work with Jaguar Land Rover?
Yeah, so we really partnered with Jaguar and really rethought the entire experience and made it specifically for the car. You get into your car, you already have your tile set up on your phone, and all you do is you plug your phone into the car just as you would, for charging your phone. Select the Tile app icon from the in-control dashboard on your Jaguar and launch the Tile app. And then the app will actually tell you if you're missing any essentials that you should have with your car.
So anything that has a tile attached to it, it'll say that's not in the car.
Like your child?
Well, that's it. Brad has 2 7-year-old twins, so could we attach tiles to that just in case we accidentally leave his twins in the house when he leaves the car?
Personally, I cannot endorse tiling.
However, it technically would work, right?
Well, if you have them within Bluetooth range, you should be able to link them and find them.
That would be great for the teenage years.
Do you know the idea too that you could hide and seek now becomes a game that's pointless because you just ring the tile and find out where the kids are hiding. What's the idea with tile? Is it now? It's a fairly, I would say. I'm trying to give it. How big are they? And give us a. I mean, I've seen one, but I don't know how to explain how big. They're about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, by about a millimeter thick or so.
Roughly, yeah. And, we're constantly working on improving that. We've got a really innovative team in-house, and when you put them together, stuff like this always happens. Jaguar is just one example. So you can always expect, them getting smaller.
And so hopefully in the future they will be really tiny, and you can embed them in places, Then the thing I like about it is where tile makes a noise. So if I have my phone and I can't find my keys, it says they're within 5 feet of me. You can hit a button and the tile will make a noise, right?
That's correct. And not only can you do that, you can double press the button on the tile and find your phone, even if your phone's on silent. So it works both ways.
Ryan, you never have to leave your phone in an airport again. You can just double press your tile and it'll make a sound.
I'll have a new list of problems tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all right.
This sounds like the warmer, cold game.
Yes,
that you can do with your phone.
Sort of.
Marco.
What's the largest size of tile packs that you sell? Is 8 the biggest?
8 is now the biggest pack you can buy.
All right, Ryan, you need to go buy 5 of those 8 packs of the tile just to make sure you don't lose your stuff.
Can a company brand these with their logo on them and hand them out at some event?
Yeah.
Yes, they absolutely can. If you go to our website, you'll see how to order those. And we've done a bunch of branded tiles before.
We have a big automotive event coming up in the fall, in September. So I think that's a great gift for all of the guys or the participating in them. So what's the cost? The last question: what is the cost of a tile? $25? Did you say?
$25.
All right,
Yeah,
and
$25 if you're buying one.
All right, and it goes down.
To buy more.
All right,
Yeah.
I think I found the gift for the summer. Thank you so much, Mayank. That's a very, very important piece of information. Now, Ryan has run out of excuses of why he has to keep getting off planes, and Brad will never lose his kids again. So it's an intentionally, yes. Thanks for joining us. When we come back on Test Miles, we're going to talk a little bit about the trip to Italy that I just made, and we'll get back with Sparky and get some more details about Formula Drift. That's coming up next on Test Miles. Your whole team is here in the studio. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
From our Test Miles studio, America's Car Radio Show, I'd like to thank you for being part of the Automotive Nation. I am Nick Miles, and don't forget to watch my news stories on Coin 6 on the weekend. And also, if you have an amazing car and you're listening to this, or you know someone that has an amazing car, get in touch with Test Miles, because we are going to start to do videos of some of the coolest cars in the region. If you have a LaFerrari, or you have
Kia Sedona?
Yeah, not so much. But, if you have a really cool car and you want us to do a Test Miles video on it for our YouTube channel, we are more than happy to talk to you and to go film the car, etc. All right, Jen, your last fun fact of the day.
The Aston Martin DB1 was the first vehicle produced under David Brown and debuted in the 1948 London Motor Show. Only 15 examples were produced.
There you go. Well, so I was in Italy for the test driving of this DB11. Can't tell you about the driving impressions. Just going to tell you that this car was one of the most perfect things. I grew up most of my summers in Italy because my mom was a history of art teacher. So I'm not sure I should say this publicly, but when I was 7, I just went underneath the velvet rope and was putting my hands all over the Last Supper, to which my mum was horrified. This was before they had it behind glass. This was many years ago, before they had it behind glass. So I grew up in all these things. I went back to Italy Can I just tell you, there's a reason why they make some of the most passionate cars in the world. We flew into Florence. It's kind of a long trip to Amsterdam. It's about a 10.5-hour flight. Flew into Florence. We stayed at a villa. Aston Martin put us up at a villa which was built in the 1300s. This place was absolutely amazing. I had 3 butlers. I had 3 butlers. Every time I'd open my room door, one would be standing there, so, could I get you a latte, sir? Would you like some sparkling water, sir? Would you need a
How did they
lunch?
become French?
Yeah. No, they were French.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were French.
Oh, okay.
They brought these guys in from France. Actually, one was English, but 2 were French. Anyway, Mr. Miles, would you like, you would like this? The food, the chef was a 2-star Michelin chef. I could go down and say, yeah, I'd love a quick lunch. This guy would make like the most amazing pasta that you could possibly imagine. Freshly made pasta, freshly made meat sauce. He would barbecue up the most incredible like barbecues for dinner, the salads. The strange thing about Italy is when you get a salad, you don't get dressing with it. They serve tomatoes, they serve, the mozzarella, the cucumbers and the lettuce, and then they give you a little bottle of olive oil. And that's you just sprinkle it on top. That was amazing. And then we got to spend a night in Florence. And of course we went to this restaurant called Zaza. One of the most popular restaurants, but still only like 12 euros for a plate of spaghetti. I had spaghetti carbonara, which I don't normally eat that sort of much dairy because in the United States it's made with cream, with eggs, and with mozzarella, and with ham and peas. There they make it with just the cheese and the butter and no cream, and they make it with just the ham, the Parma ham. It was the most delicious thing. They made the pasta fresh. So if you're going to go buy a Ferrari, or a Ferrari or wherever if you're going to go buy a car that's made in Italy, go get European delivery. It's worth it just for the 8 pounds that I put on over the 3 days. It's absolutely amazing country. Anyway,
what's it like to drive in Italy? I'm not talking about your driving experience, but just
here's the thing.
in general.
I'm out of the country, so I can say this. Speeds are between 50 and 80 kilometers an hour on the road. So when I'm bridging 180, 200 in this car, I have a little old lady who's about 70 in a Fiat Punto behind me trying to overtake me. And I'm in an Aston Martin DB11. And then you get stuck behind like a BMW 5 Series wagon, an M version or something like this. And the guy's doing like 48. And you're like, come on, really? And he knows what I'm in. It's just like so you get the complete different ends of the scale. Like
so it's
crazy
exactly like America, then.
No. Take America and put it on steroids. That's what you get. It's like both ends of the scale. You get stuck behind like these incredible cars, and yet the little old lady is scaring the heck out of me. She may even have had a nun's habit on. I'm not sure, but she scared the absolute crap out of me. It was just really, really frightening. So, anyway, that was my trip to Italy. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about that. Ryan, what product have you reviewed this week?
Well, I've been in Oregon all this week, unlike you. And I've been testing out this new microfiber mitt from Griot's Garage, and it's actually an interior mitt. I was going to use it on the outside of my car till I read it a little bit further, and it's a mitt that you can use on the inside, get your vents, get everything done with one quick swipe, so it's actually really easy to use. So
and it works?
Yeah, it works really well.
How much are they?
It's $7.99 for just the mitt. Mine came with a little bit of cleaner with it too, so probably about $20.
Recommended 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I'd give it probably a 5. It's not super easy to use, but it does work. So,
all right. Quickly, Sparky, in the last couple of minutes we got left, let's talk a little bit about Formula Drift happens next week in Everett. There are a lot of amateur guys on that race too.
Yeah, there's a whole level that's the Pro-Am, and that's where they start. We've got people like Cameron Moore and Chelsea Denofa, who are local guys, done very well. You'll see some of that. There's usually a little bit of it. There's pits and cars in the pits that you can look at. That's another great thing. It's very accessible. Speaking of that, it sounds like you guys are coming up for a visit.
Yeah, I think we're going to at least send the team up there so we can have some information there too. I might be stuck back here doing some stuff for TV, but some of the team will definitely be there. We'll film it. We'll get interviews done. We'll do what we can. And we'll air the show later in the year. Do we have a website for them?
Not off the top of my head, but I mean, there's formuladee.com. It's pretty easy to find.
FormulaD.com. We'll go get all the information and you'll relive it through the Test Miles. Make sure you visit testmiles.com. Friend us on Facebook and get the daily updates of news. We'll see you next week. The same place, the same station, and of course, the same exciting everything. I'm Nick Miles.